I'm the madman from the management school, apparently. I'm not sure if the build-up, there's one thing I need to do. Is the television live? Because my mum's at home in Somerset watching, because I've never been on the TV like Ian before. It's not live. No? I borrowed that. I never, ever wear a tie. Wait till I find that Carol Cusack woman. There'll be trouble. Okay, guys, I'm Mike. I don't know why that keeps flying around, but it does. I'm Mike. I've been a teacher all my life, so that says it all probably. My best mate's a GP. About 12 years ago, he said to me, can we start doing some management leadership stuff for GPs? And I said, not a chance, because they're all miserable sods. And I'm not going to start telling GPs what they already think they know. And he said, no, mate, seriously, they're not all like that. They're not all like that. And GP practice, 1999 this was, we're going to have to get more business-like. Don't be a plonker. What do you mean? So as the years have gone by, perhaps that's been all but too true. So I am the madman from the management school. I'm not a GP, so you can trust me. And laughter is actually the best way of learning stuff. So if you feel like laughing, great. I would just say I don't like any applause. Steve Antill's got a big hat, and he will be going around later. I'm not being funny, I'm actually trying to be serious. He'll be going around with a big hat. He's protective of his hat. Coins are okay, but notes, but don't worry about the applause. We'll just stick with the pound notes. Are there still pound notes? If anyone next to you is under 45, just explain what a pound note was, because they wouldn't know. Okay, prepared for change. Hit the button. Now listen, I've got a complete crisis of confidence, because this morning I started at 9 o'clock in Lingford House in Taunton with 20 GP practices talking about financial planning. And I'd already had to send this thing in. You haven't got it in your folders, right? Because I didn't do it until yesterday. I didn't do it till yesterday, so they didn't have a chance to photocopy it. In any case, I wouldn't have sent it anyway, because I don't want you sitting going, what is all this crap? So you listen to the crap, and then, at least you don't have to read it, and don't bother to look at it when you get sent it by email, because you won't need to bother. So just go with the flow, right? Don't try and write down what I say, because that's libelous. And I might want to see what's on this video camera, please, before it goes anywhere. I've been taken to court before. Right, hit the button for change. I am assuming, there's no other slides by the way, I just got a blag like this for half an hour. I am assuming you all have a business plan. Yes? Lies. 18 GPs this morning, two had a business plan, one wasn't sure it worked, the other one was confident, the 18 others didn't have it. Guys, you cannot change just because everybody else is changing. The only reason you would change is if something's going on which is a driver for change, which doesn't lead to whatever the plan is you've got for yourselves. I am really scared. I heard the practice down the road's federating back office. Well, we better do it. Why? Be very careful you don't get sucked into change. You all need a business plan. It is your business, it is your plan. If things happen in the environment which are going to impact on your plan, by all means change. But make sure you're changing for a reason. If you don't have a business plan, I wouldn't even bother to sit and watch the rest of this because, well, you can, because I'd be lonely on my own. You can. Now, how does this work? Oh, it's like that. Can I apologise to the lady GP? I noticed my slide said yawn behind when you were talking about the locums. Who was it? I'm sorry, I do apologise. It wasn't intentional. Okay, so I'm going to give you a lecture today about change management. There are about 750,000 books written about change management, and they are about as good as the people who wrote them, who all did it for money, and they've all sold some sort of gimmick to go with it. Decided against that, won't bother with that one. What is change? Do you know the beauty of being a teacher these days rather than when I started 623 years ago? If you wanted to teach anyone anything, you'd look it all up. What do you do now? Google, bang, change. Can I tell you, I've discovered there are 726 quotations about change. So I'm not clever in remembering, I've just picked them up off of Google. What is change? Well, that's what change is. It's when we're going to do something different from what it would have been if you'd left it alone. But can I tell you, sometimes you'd be better leaving it alone. Sometimes we change, and we should have left things as they were. We have a bit of a panic. So, business plan, make sure you know what you're trying to achieve before you go off on change. It's your business. It's not a CCG business. It's not the NHS business. It's your business. So when you come to say, what's in my pocket at the end of the month, it's your business, what you want to achieve. So change is what the impact is of those drivers on what you set for yourselves. These are some quotes. I've got to walk about. How do I turn this on? Oh, I'm having a panic. Hello? Testing, testing. Hello. Right, these are some quotes. If you do not change direction, you'll end up where you're heading. Where are you heading? Think about that. Perhaps they're not where you want to go. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. Didn't say anything about women, because they didn't mention it in those days. Confucius didn't talk about what women... Being facetious. If you can't change your mind, you can't change anything. Are you so indoctrinated into what you're doing, you can't change anything? I don't know. I've got a couple of simple ones. Even if you fall on your face, you're moving forward. Yeah? And this one's got absolutely nothing to do with it, but when I'm going through Google, I liked it. Don't take life too seriously, you'll never get out of it alive. Right, George Bernard Shaw, much more educated man than me. If you can't change your mind seriously, you can't change anything. And do you know, it's so about today is about you as people, as I'll come on to in a minute. Can you change? Can I change? It's a very interesting question. It's always been difficult. What was this? 1512, Machiavelli. The bit that matters is the innovator makes enemies of all those who prospered under the old order and receives only lukewarm support from those who prosper under the new. Recognise that? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I've tried changing in delivering sessions like this, but actually, if I don't turn up with my suit, well, it's somebody else's suit, and I don't borrow Steve Antill's tie, they all think, who is this muppet? We're GPs and practice managers. What's he doing in jeans and a t-shirt? Because you couldn't cope with that. You couldn't cope with that change. You couldn't cope with the change if I said, actually, I'm not going to use a PowerPoint. I'm just going to come around and tell you jokes and laugh and talk to you. You go, he's a madman. Well, I am. But change is very difficult, because we're all very, very comfortable with what we see and what we have. I might make enemies of you. In the same way as people who innovate change make enemies of it. I might make myself. Is this the right teeth when you pick them up off the basin? Don't feel right. Anyway, I struggled because the lovely Carol Cusack said to me, Mike, you're the madman from the management school. We've got enough intelligent input during the day. Just need you to come along, give it a bit of waffle, get people in after lunch. If they fall asleep, make sure they all do, and then creep out quietly, and then I'll pay you. 17 and 9 pence, not a lot of money, but I'm happy to do it. So one night last week, I was getting in a cold sweat because I didn't actually know what to do. I am sick of teaching change management. There you are, I told you. I'm not going to teach you change management because I'm sick of it. And and most of it doesn't work. So what I did, and this is true. We could get a laugh out of this too. What I did last Friday night was I shut up. I won't. I've died. I woke up in the middle of the night and I truthfully thought I cannot come and bore you with change management stuff. And this is an honest story. It really is honest. Next to my bed at home, I have 2 books. And they're like that. See, that's what it looks like. So on the top, we've got the house for sale at the moment. I don't want people coming around seeing the book that's underneath. So my wife covered it up with this one. I don't know if you come across it. Leadership, the 1 Minute Manager. I get 10%. Buy it. Seriously, it's a good book. If you come across the 1 Minute Manager series, good book. Leadership, good book. People change, good book. But underneath it is Paul McKenna, I Can Control Your Stress. And it's got a CD in the back, and next to the bed, I've got a CD player, and it's going, relax your arms, relax your neck. And then the bloody cat jumps on you. Hey, get off. I have them beside the bed. So I pick them up, which is true. Then I went into my office and thought I'll find something else, and the first 3 books I found was Jeff Archer, A Prison Diary. He went to Wellington School with me. He's 10 years older, I wasn't there at the time. Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom, and Lateral Thinking Skills. And that is true. And I decided that somehow or other I wasn't going to bore you with all the crap about change management. I'd use those books. That is absolutely true. So, there were the books. I learned how to use a scanner. Pretty good. Those were the books. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about change management about. Luckily, I didn't pick up 50 Shades of Grey, because that was the... I've never even read it. I don't know what's in it. I sometimes do ropes and blindfolds in some of my team building games. Right. Well, I do. You laugh at the strangest things. However, look, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. You've got to remember that. You are in control of your change. You don't have to change if you don't want to. You shouldn't be changing if you don't know why. You know, you are in control of it. And I really worry. Imagine, I'm probably the only person in the world who goes to a practice every day. Do you know how awful that is? I go into more practices than you lot every day. How are you getting? I'm stressed. It's really awful. Okay, that's what we're going to work with. Now, shall I really hack you off? See, the trouble is I don't know exactly what was said this morning. So sometimes, have you ever been a speaker at a wedding and you've got 3 jokes lined up that are absolute crackers and the 2 people before you tell them? Yeah? And you sat thinking, God, it's going to be me in a minute, what am I going to say? And you have a panic. I don't know what you've been told about change. All I can tell you is what I believe. I do not believe that organisations change. I do not believe that. I've been teaching the subject for 30 years. I've been trying to live it for 30 years. I don't believe organisations change. I really don't. What I do believe is that people change. People are what change, not organisations. And, you know, you change people who change organisations, but you've got to get people to make the decision that they want to change. I really believe that. So if you've been told you can sit down and do a plan for business process re-engineering or whatever, I don't believe it works. I think it's people that change. I'm serious about that, joking aside. And I know, because I can read, and I read the brief that Carol sent me, thank you, Carol, that one of the things was you were looking at changing the way practices provide services, federating backroom and other daily functions, mergers of various sizes and complexities, and developing provider organisations. Very laudable, very, very good, very good. Lovely, nice prizes, good game, good game. But actually, like every other aspect of management, if you don't have good teams, and good managers, and good leaders, and innovation and creativity, you do not achieve those things. I can buy the bit about let's go out and buy our electric and our gas together and save 4 bob fortnight. I can buy the bit so let's get rid of all the practice managers and have one practice of 5 and join them all together, one super practice manager. I can buy, we'll buy our paper cheaper, go and get it in Staples on a Thursday. No, it costs you 8 quid for the petrol, but you save £3.2. I don't know, well that, yeah. And I'm not actually knocking it. But girls and boys, actually all that matters is people. People make those changes, people make it work. Now I'm told, Paul McKenna, PhD, notice my book, I could play the CD, there isn't time, and it wouldn't let it be filmed. Background stress. The more and more we adopt to more and more uncomfortable circumstances, we get background stress. And it leads to bad moods, loss of sense of humour and headaches, and ultimately even depression, anxiety, and physical illness. Every practice I go into demonstrates those things. Oh, I've got a headache, very sick of this, sick of the change. I do recognise it. I do recognise it. Look, let's change tack. The best way of dealing with a problem is to share it, isn't it? Problem shared is a problem halved. I know all the good quotes. You know, I've studied this. MBA twice. Failed the first time. Oh, I did, it's true. I did, I failed. Failed the first time. Light is the task we've got to get working in teams. Look, we're close to the water-ish. You're closer than I am in Devon and where I am in Devon. If 2 people rowing a boat only got twice as much out of it as one, they wouldn't do it. They'd row 2 boats. It's about synergy. The sum of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Lesson number 1, or lesson number 2, you could have a business plan. Lesson number 2 is you don't work in teams. Most of the money I make, which is a fortune, Not full-time equivalent GP, but a fortune nevertheless. In any case, they'll be pissed off soon because that's falling. Anyway, that said, but most of the work I do is consultancy for dysfunctional partnerships. Can't get on. Because you don't work as a team. And you won't deliver change without working as a team. And you won't deliver change with people if you don't work at the top as a team. Now, do you want me to be, Marco Polo? Who do you want me? I can't make it any easier. It is so simple. You don't need to buy in any techniques. Just work together as a management team, work together as a practice team, and I promise you, I will give you my next month's mortgage payment, which I paid off last week. I'll give you my next month's mortgage payment if you don't start delivering better change and better everything. But it's about people. It's not about change. The other thing that fascinates me is no one has all the knowledge about change and ideas. Share it. You often go in, the reason change doesn't work is most people don't get engaged with it. You don't ask them, what do you think, Ethel? You sit answering the phone all the day. I know, well, no one's ever asked me. What? But all right, thank you, Ethel, ask somebody else. You've got to share with people. You cannot look in a new direction by looking hard in the same direction you've come from. Let other people give you some inspiration. And you know the one, you worry people, if you've got any apples or anything you can throw at me, you mustn't work harder, you've got to work smarter. But it's true. That's the snag. You know all these things, but we don't do it. I know GPs. Dear O'Byrne, my partner, gets in at 6 because he couldn't manage getting in at 7, and most nights he's there until 9 o'clock, and he's burnt out and knackered. And I keep saying, Byrne, you've got to live a general practice in a different way. Can't. I talked to you about it at the weekend. Can't. Just tries to work harder. People think there's a direct relationship between the amount of work and success. That's not true, because when you get burnt out, you're hopeless. You're hopeless at delivering change, you're hopeless at leadership, you're hopeless at management. So getting tired doesn't matter. And then, of course, there's different strokes for different folks. Some people need the cane, the stick, some people need a carrot. Why can't we suss that out? That brings us on a lot towards leadership and management. Leaders need to do what the people they lead can't do for themselves at the present moment. Change. So, why are we so short of leaders in general practice? Loads of managers, we're stacked out with managers, and every time there's a problem, we send people on management training. And they pay me to deliver it. We've got hundreds of managers. We're overmanaged. Where are the leaders? Because leaders do this, not managers. Believe me? I don't know, it's a bit of a tricky subject there, but not laugh in case anyone... This is a good book. I haven't got it with me. It's called Good to Great by... Do you want me to turn the screen a bit so you can see? You're all right? Okay. Good to Great by Jim Collins. It's about a London bus. Right now, the pictures are a bit grainy because it came from on the buses. You won't know it unless you're over 50 odd. Okay, Reggie Varney, remember it? All right. There's a bus driver. Of course, I showed this to somebody the other day, say, what's that bloke on the back? Well, that's the conductor. What's one of them? Ever been on a bus lately? They don't have conductors anymore. I didn't know that. I didn't know they didn't have conductors on a bus. But then you got to get people sat on the bus. Listen, I'm going to read your story. You've got to give me the extra 5 minutes you pinched off me, because I'm not coming back. Right, I'm going to do it really quick. You're a bus driver. The bus, your business, is at a standstill, and it's your job to get it going. You have to decide when you get where you're going, how you're going to get there, and who's going with you. Most people assume that great bus drivers, for that read business leaders, immediately start the journey by announcing to people on the bus where they're going, by setting up a new direction or articulating a fresh vision. In fact, leaders of businesses who go from good to great start not with where we're going, but who's coming on the journey. They start by getting the right people on the bus, the wrong people off the bus, and then the right people in the right seats. And they stick with that discipline, first the people, then the direction. First the people, then the direction, no matter how dire the circumstances get. Take a business that's lost its way. The owners, read the partners, GP, partners, get it? Desperately want to know what's going to be done to rescue this business. The true leader responds to the what question the same way that all good to great leaders do. He tells them, that's the wrong question. To decide where to drive the bus before you've got the right people on board is absolutely the wrong approach. With the right people on the bus and in the right seats, full attention can be turned to the what question. When it comes to getting started on delivering change, great leaders understand 3 simple truths. First, if you begin with who is coming on the journey, you can more easily adapt to a fast-changing world. If people get on your bus because of where they think it's going, you'll be in trouble when you get 10 miles down the road and discover that you need to change direction because the world's changed. They may not want to go in that direction. But if the people on board the bus principally because of all the other great people with them, you'll be much faster and smarter in responding to changing conditions. That's 1. 2, if you have the right people on the bus, you don't need to worry about motivating them. The right people are self-motivated. Nothing beats being part of a team that expects to produce great results. And finally, if you have the wrong people on your bus, nothing else matters. You may be headed in the right direction, but you still won't achieve greatness. Great vision with mediocre people produces mediocre results. I am absolutely sure that's right, and I think that generally most organisations are frightened to death to make sure they've got the right people. I really do think that, and we're frightened to tackle it. People have got on your bus in your practice 20 years ago, 10 years ago, however long ago, when general practice was going in a particular direction. They ain't going there anymore. Perhaps they're not happy on that bus, and perhaps they're doing everything they can to get the bus to turn around and go back where it came from. You need to know, in the light of that, there's a profound difference between leaders and managers. I highlighted the best bit, but what I truthfully and passionately believe, and I think general practice is no different than any other, it's probably the only sector that's different, is sole traders, because they have to do the leadership and the management. But public sector particularly is like this. Unless we recognise we're not talking about management when we speak of leadership, we'll try to do, all we try to do when we need more leadership is to work harder to manage. And we do become over-managed and under-led. I was going to say, comrades. I think that's the case with our sector. I think we are over-managed and under-led. We spend so much time trying to manage process, trying to manage the change process, business process re-engineering, purchasing, whatever it is. We forget the people, you know. You're in a people business. You are in a people business. Trust me, you're in a people business, and people matter a lot. I won't go through all those things because, as ever, I've been stupid, hit my microphone and gone on too far. But issues like, you know, the manager maintains, the leader develops. The manager relies on control, the leader inspires trust. The manager asks how and when, the leader asks what and why. You get the gist? And it's a personality thing. And you need in your practices to be working out much more about this. The other thing about the challenge of change is no one likes change, do they? Because it's looking at what you've done before and worrying about what you can worry about, what you can't worry about. That quote from Jefferson, how much pain they have caused us, these evils which have never happened. Hey, last week someone was saying to me, we've all got to work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Have you? Yeah, they've been piloting in Bristol. Bristol. Get on, lover. Yeah, bloody hell. I don't think you have, lover. They've just been doing the 12 hours a day. They haven't done the 7 days. Yeah, it's bloody coming January. We'll all have to do it. I said, well, you won't all work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Well, they will. That's what they say. How could you laughing about it? Because it's not true, is it? And we do worry about the pain that causes us, these evils that never happen. Hey, lighten up. They're not all going to happen. Don't read the Pulse every day or BMJ. I know doctors stop reading it. I read it. God, change. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Remember that prayer, write it up in your office, copy it off of my slides, Fiverr, send me the check. Put it up on your wall because you can't change everything. Why try? Know what you can change, know what you can't change, and focus on those things. Limiting belief. You ever heard the story of Danzig? Any of you? Right, very quickly. He was a scholar. He went late to a maths class. Up on the board were written two problems to solve. He was late getting in. He assumed it was the homework. True story. He wrote down the questions and he struggled to in the homework to complete them. He took them back 2 days late, went to his teacher and said, hey, look, I'm really sorry. They're a couple of days late. They were really quite difficult to do. And the teacher said they weren't homework questions. They were problems that are unsolvable in statistics. But it's true, he solved them. He solved them because he didn't have any limiting beliefs. We can't do this. Never put general practice right. It's all going to go down the bloody pan now. Never get any better. Stressful. Never going to change. It's going to get worse. We are what we believe, you know. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. I hadn't thought about this, but I've just thought of it, so I'll tell you. I can go into a practice, and within 5 minutes in reception, I'll tell you whether everyone in the practice is going to say, I'm stressed, I'm under pressure, because it's catching. And that's what leaders stop happening. Managers go, yeah, I know you're stressed. Well, shall we have an appraisal? Or we'll do a supervision, and I'll check with Ocky Health, wherever Jonathan was I was talking to. Come on, guys, sometimes you need a bit of bloody leadership. I just recognise another smiley face. Hello. Nice to see you. Go on, come and chill. How are you doing? All right? Leadership. You've got to have leadership. Don't have leadership, none of this happens. Downside planning. These guys, what they do is they say, right, come on then, tell me all the things that are going to go wrong. What are they? What impact are they going to have on me? Now, it stops for most people. They're bloody hell worried. What we're going to do, never put it right. These guys come up with a scenario and they plan how to tackle each of those downsides. Why don't you do that? Why do you just take every downside and say, this is going to be crap, we'll never get out of it? Break it down into bite-sized chunks. Which bits can we control? Which bits can't we? I'm rushing now because the time's getting up. The fear of change is greater than the fear of staying the same. I'll bet you most people here, if you're honest, you're frightened of staying the same because it don't look good. Income's falling, pressure's going up, work's going up, everything's becoming a nightmare. You don't like it, but you're actually more frightened of changing than you are of sticking with it, aren't you? That's the truth. And you need to get more people on the case for change. Creativity just says, why do we lose it? Kids have got it, and then we're ground down by work, and no longer we can't be innovative or creative anymore. This is just last story. I think I'll stop before I bore you to death, but I've got to tell you one little story. Jeffrey Archer, you must remember Lord Archer. Bit of a villain, but look, he's one of my old schoolies, so he's a bit of a, because he's a bit of a chum. I don't know him personally, never met the bloke. But he was sent to prison. Lord Archer, peer of the realm, sent to prison. I promise you, it's a very short story, I'm stopping. 2 minutes it'll take me. This guy knocks on the prison door and he effectively says, Jeff, this is Lord Archer. Jeff. Yes? Jeff. What? Got a problem in this prison. What's that? There's no electric in the cells. Right? Well, I got this ghetto blaster. Archer then says, yeah, it's the bloody one that was bursting all night with Rastafarian music I couldn't sleep for. But however, Jeff, I can tell you how to get electric. And this guy, it's in this book, I promise you, this guy drew a plan of how you could fiddle electricity with a Bic biro pen and a bit of wire, add paper cut to wire that leads from stereo to inner brain, use inner pen to attach wire to paper. Down here somewhere, make sure wire touches on bare metal on the pipe of the radiator. That's change. The guy worked out how to provide electricity in his cell. It was change. Now, is necessity the mother of invention? Why don't you be more inventive? Why haven't you changed the way general practice is completely? I don't want to go and ring up and can I have an appointment? Yeah, 10 minutes next Thursday. Okay, come in, queue up, see the doc. Doc says, need to see me, seen the nurse. Okay, didn't see the nurse. Go and see her. Right, okay, Danny, here's your script. Can't get it. Wait, come back to me. It ain't changed a lot. Look, I'm sure you'll go, this man is bloody mad. Well, I've been going to these GPs since I was very young, and that's about 60 years. And in general terms, it ain't changed much from my perspective. You still largely do it the same way as we've always done it. So is desperation the mother of invention? Necessity? Because if it is, and you haven't got desperate, or it's not that necessary, you won't change. Will you? So maybe it's not got that necessary. I'm going to close there because I've got about 700 hours more I could go through with you, but I won't. Organisations don't change, people do. Necessity is the mother of invention. Perhaps it's not necessary yet. You can't force necessity. When necessity hits you, you'll know, and your jolly will change because you won't have a choice. Yes? Thank you for listening to me. Oh, don't forget the hat's coming around. Thanks very much.